in this time here in Tulum, Mexico, I've been thinking a lot about fear. I'm going to give you some examples of that during this trip, of times when I felt afraid, when I was rejected. I think that was the biggest kind of fear, that I wasn't good enough and somebody didn't want to hang out with me. I'll give you some examples of that. I want to talk about the purpose of fear, because I think there is a protective side of it that it's good to align with. And then I want to talk about just being a strong person today, being a man, being a gentleman, being the kind of person we really want to be, that I really want you to be, which means conquering your fear. And that's why I still think courage, it's definitely one of the 4 cardinal virtues, and that is your ability to get through that fear. So I want to talk about that right now. Down here, traveling alone, I got to reach out to people for survival, I mean, I could go about the whole trip and not really talk to anybody, but man, that'd be tough. At some point, I got to come out of the shell a little bit and say hi to people. Just be like, hey, how's it going? Where are you from? You've been here before. Where are you traveling from? Just a great starting point. It's really cool to meet people and see what's going on, where they've been and where they're going and why they're here. But there carries with that, every time you ask that question, the fear, the possibility of rejection. And I got rejected today. I'm sitting out at this cabana, just having a good time, and there were these Spanish guys, Spanish, not Mexicans, Spanish guys at a one right next to us, and I was just in Spanish, just talking to them. Hey, how's it going? Where are you from? Why'd you come here? Da da da. And they're very cold and uninterested, and in that body language, they were just like, "Yo, we don't want to talk to you." They didn't say that, but they said that. You know what I mean? And so in that moment, there's that rejection. That fear is there for a reason. What's the purpose of fear? Fear is to anticipate something that may hurt us, ultimately life-threatening stuff, right? We don't really have a lot of tigers and bears chasing us anymore to provoke us to be afraid, fight or flight, all that. But socially, we have all these social fears of rejection, which goes back to kind of tribal times, where if we were cast out of the tribe, we would not survive. And so it was important to keep those social relations in check. And fear, I think, prevented us from saying stupid things and making mistakes. And ultimately, I think fear is an emotion designed to protect us. So it's good to align with that and say, hey, fears, hey, self, the part of you that wants to protect me, I thank you for that. And then to take another step and say, I'm safe. I'm going to say hi to these guys, and it's going to be okay. If they don't want to hang out or talk to me, that's their business. But that's not going to, lower how I feel about myself or how I esteem myself, my self-esteem. It's okay. It actually doesn't mean anything. It just means they're not interested. And it might be because my Spanish is street Mexican Spanish. Or it might be because I'm a big obnoxious gringo, or who knows what it is, but it doesn't matter. So that one didn't hurt. But there are other ones where it's like, oh, hey, I'm kind of interested in this girl. I'm going to ask her out. I'm going to go talk to these girls. Or, hey, these look like cool guys. I don't want to I'd like to hang out with them and see where they're from and talk basketball, the tournament's going on, and put myself out there a little bit. And there's that fear of rejection. I want to talk about the rejection piece a little bit. Because when I get rejected in these little examples here, I feel the Spanish guys, most of them, once I'm over it, it doesn't hurt at all. It just, who cares? But there's times when maybe I'm not so solid and secure, and I'm in a new place, and I'm not feeling so confident. And the rejection can sting. It can hurt. And then there's the criticisms and the negative talk and the stuff in my head that just beats it down even more. And it's just pure shame. It's just, what's wrong with me that this person didn't reciprocate? for whatever it is, whether it's a girl or some random dudes or whatever. And that's a fallacy. It actually has nothing to do with me. Or maybe it does. That's their business. But most of the time, that thinking that if I were good enough, everybody would reciprocate, that's not true. You are good enough. I am good enough. The shame thing is, it's an emotion, it's real, but it's an illusion. And it doesn't work that way. You're good enough regardless of how anybody else responds. If you're making your self-worth and all that dependent and affected on other people's response, wow, you're gonna feel great some days, and you're gonna feel terrible some other days. You know what I mean? And I am susceptible to this, I'm not gonna lie. Acknowledge it, watch it play out, get through it. I mentioned this before, so what is the virtue, the character trait, the habits of confronting fear and getting through it? It's so good. This is the 4 cardinal virtues. This is courage. And I think it's one of the most important things. And I'm not just talking about confronting your fears and but I'm talking about in creating the life that you really want. It's going to take some balls. You're going to have to put yourself out there with people, with relationships, with your career, with taking appropriate risks financially. All that stuff is going to be in the face of fear, where there's a voice that says, no, stay safe. That's fear. We want you to stay safe. Again, that's a core good thing that you're not. Fear keeps you from, jumping off airplanes without a parachute, from doing crazy, stupid shit that's gonna hurt you. Fear is a good defense, protective mechanism, but it's gone too far when it stops you from living the life that you really want in your dreams. And that's where courage is still a cardinal virtue to help you get what it is you really want. Think about time. Am I wrong? Think about times in your life when you've had the balls to go out and get something that you really wanted, that you were afraid of, that you pushed through it. Now imagine if, because we're all gonna have all of these times in our life when we're just afraid of something. Imagine if most of those times, when it was just pure fear, not bodily harm or appropriate fear, but kind of pathologic fear, too much. Imagine if all of those times in your life you didn't go at it. You didn't push it, you didn't have the courage. And then compare your life where, when appropriate, you have the courage to push through the fear and go after what you want in the face of rejection or not succeeding or whatever it was. Imagine that throughout your whole life. What a huge difference that would make in every realm. Just from the fear of failure in the gym, of bench pressing a little bit more because you want to grow and get stronger, and sometimes you are going to fail. People are going to look at you and you're going to, to asking people out or going for a promotion at work or whatever it is. God, what a core virtue that is. So good. So that's my reflection right now. Man, I'm feeling high because I conquered some fears. Last night, just kind of walked up, talked to a couple guys, made some friends out of it. Met a couple more guys. Talked to a bunch of people today and had a great time. Had a fun beach vacation. That's part of the dream. And then I come back and I have my time alone when I get to talk to you. But it was having the courage and to do that and to know that they don't want to hang out. It's okay. It doesn't mean anything about me. It's important things. This is for you, but I'm saying this for myself too, right? These are great. It's just a good message and a good virtue. Courage, use it. Go get that life that you want, man. One confrontation of fear at a time. Get into that habit of living a courageous life. I should brand that. Live a courageous life. Right? What a great slogan. So true, though. All right, I'm out of here. I'm hungry. and I want to go live that courageous life. It's been good talking to you, but it's time to go. And same for you. Get your ass out there and do it. Bye.